it's December 19th, 2024. John, Murray, and I are here. Those are our emails. I think this is our 36th Zoom session, so it's been kind of fun, and we're pleased to continue to do this. The discussion tonight will start by just, again, an open for questions session. Anybody have anything on their mind from the last session? Any questions or comments? That'd be great to hear that. John Paul Andre is going to do the All About Us section this time. So John sent us a few slides, and he'll go through some of the things that that he's been doing and how he got involved in carving. We'll talk very briefly about upcoming shows. I'm only aware of one, but others might have a better sense of what else is coming up from a show standpoint. What's on the bench? We've had a number of people send us some really nice photos of their carvings, and so we'll go through those and let everybody talk about that. The last time we met, we asked the question, what should we take on in these Zoom calls? And one of the things that came across was people were really enjoying the challenges. So John and I put together a challenge for December and possibly going into January, depending on how challenging it is. And the notion is to help people and ourselves remind ourselves about carving round. And so we all know that we can look back at carvings we've done in the past, and they're kind of squarish, some of them. And I know I have a few squarish carvings that I've done in the past. And so this whole notion about making a round carving when you're making a human figure, as an example, is really important to caricature carving. So we've got a couple of things we're going to talk to you about that. John Paul has put together a little challenge in carving a I'll just get everybody to mute. I see Elliot, your name keeps coming up here, so I'll just get you to mute until you're ready to ask a question or say something. So John's put together a baseball bat project, and so we'll carve a little baseball bat, and obviously that'll help us, the whole notion about carving in the round. And then we'll take that a step further, and I've brought a little figure that I've used here in Kingston, and I've used at Queen's University to carve a little guy in a hoodie. And so that again is a little bit of a step beyond the bat. And so what we'll do is the baseball bat tonight, if we have time, we'll talk about the little hoodie guy. And both of those things will take you kind of through different levels of skill development in learning how to and practicing how to carve in the round. Okay, so we'll have some fun with that. And then we'll finish up with tips, tricks, and techniques. And that's what we'll do. Okay, so that was the notion. Let's just open it up for comments right now. I'll just shut up for a minute. If anybody has any questions or comments, let's hear them.
Hi, it's Craig. I have a question for John Paul.
Yes, sir.
I haven't been knighted yet, so you don't have to call me sir. Any day I'll be knighted, but not right now. I bought a knife from Helvey with a curved blade. I notice you use them quite often. Yeah, exactly.
That one?
Why do you use it? Like, is there a certain thing you like to do with it, or you just carve everything with it?
These are the two knives that I use. Two Helveys.
Okay.
That used to be a lot bigger, but it's got shrunk down quite a bit. But
yeah, I shouldn't wash it.
Yeah. No, I just prefer the handle. It fits my hand really well. That's basically it. I just prefer this knife. It works for my hand perfectly.
Is it something that when you started carving or took lessons, that's what the teacher showed you and you just kept on with it? Or is it something you picked up on your own?
I picked up on my own.
Oh, okay.
I
bought one. I just wondered, is there a certain curvature or something you want to do? You use that knife, or because mine are basically all straight.
Yeah. I find this one I can get like for doing eyes and stuff. I can really get down, and I use my back thumb to push that blade and steady the blade instead of have some control of that blade. Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. I'm a little nervous.
Just a hand preference.
Oh, okay. I was a little nervous because all mine are straight. One of these
Yeah.
days, I'm going to pick it up and put my thumb on that curve and use the other end to start carving. And you might be a river of blood somewhere.
I understand that perspective because I've often thought of that too. I just pick it up and do what I normally do and put my thumb right on the blade.
I've done that.
You've done that. Great.
I've done it.
I haven't done it
One
yet,
thing
but
I can suggest to you is when you have the curved blade, you're having a smaller section of the blade touching the wood, which gives you a mechanical advantage to cut quicker. You can't get as big a stroke, perhaps, but you've got it takes a little less power in your hands to do that, but you got to control because it can really take off on you too.
Oh,
I
okay.
find with this blade too, I can really slice. I do like a lot of sliding slice, where I slide it.
Mhm.
I get a good control with this blade.
I think they call this blade an upsweep.
Upsweep, yeah.
knife. And I follow Roger Stegall on YouTube, and I've seen him use this quite a bit.
Yeah.
And usually I've seen him use, like, carve towards the corners where the straight blade cannot reach. So he kind of uses that. So if you want to know more about that, Greg, you can kind of check out Roger on YouTube, and you'll see that he uses that blade quite a bit.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, guys. That was great.
Good
A
question.
quick question. They get the knives that come already, the blades in them and everything else, and they're like razors. I've been sharpening and sharpening and sharpening my other knives, like the ones you're saying about, and they're almost like razors, but these ones are like so razor sharp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these are so easy to use, and then I finish with the other ones. But is that a good thing? Like, it just
For
is
sure.
weird.
For sure.
Just finding
Yeah.
now that I'm using these all the time.
Yeah. If you follow
Yeah.
Lynn Doughty at all, if you
That's
follow
all he
Lynn
uses.
Doughty at all, that's all he uses is a great big Stanley utility knife. And I don't think he even bothers sharpening, to be honest with you. I think he just puts a new blade in.
Yeah, put a new blade in. Yeah.
You can hone that, and that thing is a razor.
Mark, I know in the last show, it's Wayne from New Brunswick. I know you in the last show you were asking for ideas for upcoming Zoom calls, and maybe that's something that we could discuss in a future meeting. Is the type of knife? I know there's all kinds of manufacturers, but the type that different carvers use, why they like the particular knife they have, and different types of knife they have in their collection.
Yeah,
It's an idea.
Yep, that's
Good.
good idea.
Yep.
We'd probably all say the same thing, Wayne, and show each other our drawer full of knives and then the two that we use.
Yeah.
Larry, the only caution you might want to watch is you have one blade there that has is it a breakable blade? You
Yep.
can break off. You just have to watch that you don't break a piece off in a carving and then run your finger across the piece that's stuck in wood. Oh, okay. So there you go.
Good thing to say. Yeah.
That sounds from experience.
Yeah,
There you go.
definitely. Yeah.
Like I have a class coming up. I'm teaching January the 8th. I'm teaching with this. I'm teaching the people with these things.
Good.
That's a cheap way to get in.
I
Is
guess
that
the
like-
other one with the small one is it's so small you don't, if you put a blade all out like that, you're in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
You only have your cutting knife, you're just like your little cutting, so it really doesn't break off as easy. But when you're saying that's so true, if it's in there, then you rub your finger over. But yeah, I would find, I guess I was a picture framer, so I've used these for years and years and years to my trimming my papers and whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess this one here was my right hand. Then I find with little details, it's because it's razor sharp, and then just snapping it off and then start a new blade again. But I still spend all my gouges and everything else. I spend so much time sharpening them. But these ones I just get a kick out of for most of your main stuff. It's just easier as popping a blade in.
Do you hone it too?
Do you ever find the tip of the blades break off? Like they're just a very tip break off and get stuck in the wood?
No, I never had that. I just do that, then if it does, and then break it down. No, I've not had that. I guess it's the way you cut it. I guess it's so on and so forth. You try not to pry with it as opposed to cut with it, and that's a thing I've learned over years and years and years of carving. But that's a good point. No.
Just a suggestion there, Larry. One of the things I found
dollar store sells a lot of those retractable blades, and they're kind of loose. They work okay. They work fine. But the ones that work the best that way is the Olfa knife, OLFA. I think they were almost the original retractable blade, but they're very solid. They're not sloppy. They just hold tight.
Yeah, get them Home Depot or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
That's right. Olfa, that's where I pick up at Home Depot.
I watched Lynn Dowdy with his utility knife, and I decided a year and a half ago I decided I'd try it, and so I did what he did, modified it so the blade sticks out a little farther. That's all I use pretty well now, and I do hone them. I don't find them sharp enough to start off with, but I hone them, and then after a week and a half or so, I flip the blade over. Another week and a half, I throw it out and have another put another blade in, hone it. And I'm really, really pleased with it.
Good. That's great. Okay, good discussion. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thanks for that. Let's go back to our slides here. Okay, so let's move into the next piece. And John, you're going to talk a little bit about several slides that you sent in.
Okay. There's a little golfer I just finished. He's been sitting in the cabinet here for about 5, 6, maybe 10 years. So I finally got him finished. It's the hat separate, the head separate, the body is in one piece in the cigar, but it's the hat is put on after. And I like that style.
Mm-hmm. Really nice.
There's some ornaments I've been doing.
Saying that quickly, John Paul, you came up with those handles?
Yeah.
That you said about holding the pieces?
Yep.
That was a great idea. You never try to hold it with your hand, you're going to cut your fingers off. When you showed me how to do these with the screw on the end, and you screw it into it, and then you carve your piece and then untake. That's a great idea. Thank you.
And good for painting too.
Yes, yeah, good for painting too.
You're not touching it. There's a couple of ornaments I just worked on this Christmas. One little fox and a little mouse. They're I had a craft show in Moncton, and they're gone. They're both sold. They didn't last long. That's the handle there with the mouse. He's on the handle that I'm painting him right now. It looks like I just finished painting that one. That's the handle I used to hold it without touching him. There's a couple more. Oh, there's a mummer, a female mummer. Yeah. And a little bear, like a teddy or whatever, teddy bear or something.
Mm-hmm.
With a Christmas Santa suit on. But the mummers, they sold real quick. They were gone within half hour. They were gone. I should have made more of those.
Next year.
Could I interrupt you? Do you have say what kind of prices? Because I'm sure all these people on here are wondering the same thing. We're going to sell our stuff and so on and so forth. What kind of prices, if I may ask, what kind of prices do you charge for things like this?
I sold most. They were 50, 60, and down to 20.
Okay.
Depending on what I did.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay.
There's a male mummer. It's only like 6 inches. Looks bigger. He's on the handle again. It looks bigger than what he is, but it was like 6 inches tall. It's an ornament. There's Don Cherry, and I met him. It was probably a few years ago now. After Coach's Corner, he was down. He came out. It was right underneath the bleachers where the Coach's Corner is. And I was waiting after the first period, and it was me and a bunch of kids there. And Ron McLean said he's seen the Don Cherry, and he said, wait till all the kids go, and I'll bring Don over. So he he signed it for me and we took a picture of him.
Nice.
And I won. I'm not Don Cherry. I won Caricature Carvers of America award for that.
Nice.
Here's a display that I had at the Moncton show, and it's all gone. It's sold. Sold it. I didn't want to sell. It was my scene, but it all sold except the hockey player. Everything else sold. One lady bought the whole thing.
The sign too?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I should have kept that for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all gone. Here's my display at the Moncton show. I had 200 ornaments, and I sold 170 of them. That was my one of the ornament display. There's a Mountie that I just finished for a gift for a guy, that a Mountie that it was presented to him as a gift. I just gave that to him last Friday. I think it was last Friday.
Brindle, nice.
Yeah.
That's the last slide that you sent me, John.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for me. I've been carving 50 years. I was thinking about it the other day. I started when I was 15, so now I'm 65 now. So I guess I'm 50 years of carving. So I started out drawing, drawing all the, my mom said I used to draw when I was a little kid, right in front of the TV and watch cartoons and draw the cartoons. And then I think it was around 14, 15 years old. I was driving down the road on my bicycle, and there was a man had a decoy on a mailbox. And I went into I knocked on the door and asked him where he got that. It was a buffalo head. I think it was a buffalo head duck on his mailbox. I asked him where he got it from. He said he carved it. So he showed me his shop, and he gave me a little mallard decoy. It's around here someplace, a little miniature one. So he gave me a little knife, and that's where it all started. I haven't stopped since.
Okay, any questions for John? Any comments for John?
I'm wondering about the sleigh. Do you draw a detailed pattern for something like that, Andre?
Yeah, I made the pattern. It was on Pinterest, and I made a pattern. It's two sides, and on my there's a different way I do it on the TV screen, where I expand it on the TV screen, and then I can put a clear paper over the top of the TV screen, and I can draw the pattern.
Very nice.
Yeah, it turned out really good. That was Luigi's. He was a pizza delivery elf.
Yeah.
He was delivering pizza to all the elves in the workshop.
Okay, thank you very much, John.
You're welcome.
Nice work, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, upcoming shows. We talked about this last time. I'm aware that there's the Toronto Woodworking Show, and this is again put on by Gina Downs and John Downs, husband and wife, and they put on the Hamilton Show just recently. Actually, it was in the Ancaster area, and so they're planning one at the International Center on Airport Road in Toronto, and it's slated for January 17th to 19th. And usually a pretty good show. It's a lot of woodworking equipment, which is always interesting, and a smaller version of a carving show, but always a really good carving show. So if you're in the area or you can get to that, it's a lot of fun. Murray, you're putting on a seminar at this particular show.
Yes, I've been recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Be carving wands or something like that. Is giving people ideas and how to start with the idea of carving.
Good, good.
Usually it's involved with fathers with son or daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helps you, the safety factor too, because they're responsible.
Good. And is anybody aware of any other shows following the Toronto Woodworking Show? I'm not.
I don't think we've heard anything yet, but my guess would be Belleville might be the first one coming up sometime March and April.
Yeah,
That's usually the case.
I think it's kind of like the March period or something. Okay, we'll learn more about that then and be able to talk about that at another Zoom call then. But if you're available in January, good show. Okay, let's talk about what's on the bench. And we've had a few really nice carvings sent in. I can't see on my screen right now everybody that's on. Is Lee on the Zoom call tonight?
I haven't seen his name yet.
Okay. So Lee sent us in a few nice carvings. So this guy we recognize, the Grinch, did a nice job of it. And then more of Lee's usual style, this little elf here. Nice looking elf. And this guy here is a hunter using a slingshot. Pretty nice. I like the camouflage shirt too.
Got a safety vest on.
Safety vest. Yes, got a safety vest on. Nice looking carving. Okay, Elliot. I know Elliot's on the line tonight.
That's nice.
Yeah, hi, Mark.
Hi, Elliot.
You hear me?
I do, yeah.
Okay, great. You probably can't see me. I'm not sure how to turn that on.
Okay.
But this is a frog. So there's two frogs here, the one on the left, one on the right, the two on the right. These were a pattern from a guy on YouTube called Dallo, Ddalo, from South Korea, and he carves really nice stuff. It looks as simple as can be. Let me tell you, these two gave me real grief. They were hard to do. They were really hard to carve. I mean, it blew me away. In fact, the one on the left, a woman in our club had asked me if I carved the frog and stuck a dowel up in between his legs and his butt. But no, that's all the one piece, and climbing nice. Frog and yoga frog.
Really nice. Those are cute.
A tough job, but yeah. This is an elf I carved back in November, I think it was. Again, like the heads I carved last year on a 2x2 by about a 5-inch block that's cut on the bias. And yeah,
I like that. I like the mistletoe on the hat. That's a nice little detail. I tried carving something like this for the first time this year, like an ornament like this. And one thing I appreciated after doing several of them is what you did with the beard. Rather than just straight lines for the beard, a little bit of a wave in them. It just really, it brings out the more. It really looks nice.
Yeah, if you've got a fairly short beard there, you really have to put that S line in the hair flow. I mean, it adds with the whole thing. Really as you said last year, there's no straight lines, right, Mark?
Right.
You know, but the berries, you might want to know, the berries are handmade. The berries are glass beads that come from the dollar store, the craft store. So, you know, the little tiny little glass beads that they sell, they're individually glued onto a piece of monofilament, and you paint the end, the bead, with glossy red paint,
Very good.
and then you tie them up. You take 4 or 3, you tie them up in a clump and stick them in a hole
Hmm.
in the hat.
Hmm.
And it looks, I mean, it's to scale, and it looks like a berry.
Yeah, it looks really smart. Nice carving.
Thank you. My witch. I call the, I call her Honey, I'm home. I carved her around Halloween. I guess it was a reply to Dave Stetson's international caricature being demo that he did at Halloween. He said he couldn't carve a witch with a hat on a corner block, so he carves his on a square block. So he has the hat with the brim width. Well, this one again is carved on a 2 by 2 by 5 or perhaps more inch long block of wood, but again, it's cut on the bias, and you can get the hat width in. The brim is turned up, and yeah, the hairs on a wart came from, I shouldn't say this, our carving club workshop broom that we sweep up with at the end of each day. So I snipped 3 hairs off it, and that's from on that.
Well, hopefully
But,
none of your club members will be watching the YouTube, and so you'll
Well,
get
the
away
club,
with it.
the club guys know, and it's not so much that, and it's the place that we carve in. It's but yeah, it was a fun carve. This is my first email head. So yeah, I was quite
Nice.
pleased with it.
Yeah, really looks good.
Thank you. That's the one. That's my Santa Claus ornament I've done this year. That's a Doug Linker a pattern carved on a 1 inch by 2.5 by 5 long, and it's cut out in a banana shape or a crescent moon shape, and the first one was slow. I've carved 8 so far this year, so I have them down to perhaps half the time that the first one took. It's a real exercise in knowing your grain.
Yeah.
It's a real challenge to carve this, because the pom-pom and the end of the beard is cross grain. And by the time it curves around, you've got cross grain there, really short grain, and you're always having to turn the piece around to carve like downhill on the grain.
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough carve. Doug says it's a beginner's piece. It's not really.
Turned out nice.
And this is Winter Spirit. I carved him about October or so. Yeah, 2 by 2 by maybe 4-inch block. Again on the diagonal, and the berries are the same as the elf.
I like that. I'm gonna have to look for those berries. I think they really look smart.
I carved the leaves as you see, but then the berries are all handmade, hand painted, and glued in.
Very nice. I think that's the last
Thank
one.
you.
Any
Okay.
comments or questions for Elliot?
It's got a nice sharp knife, that's for sure. No burrs.
Yeah.
Very nice, sharp tools.
Okay, John Paul.
I like
that's
the
good.
beard.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Well, again, it's short, so you get as much of a curve and a flow in as you can.
Nice job, Elliot.
Yep. Thanks very
Okay,
much.
John. Thank you.
Alec, you made it onto the line tonight. You got a couple of slides here.
Oh,
You there,
hello.
Alec? There you
Yeah.
are.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Alec.
This I did for my grandson. He's 10. He's quite the hockey player. And it took a long time to do it, but I got it done. When he started playing hockey this year, I went to the arena and my wife took a lot of pictures of him. So this is what it ended up at.
Nice job.
I guess.
It's very difficult to do a young face. He doesn't have any baby fat, so I couldn't round his face off. But I think it's very close.
Nice.
He's got no beard either, eh?
Yeah.
Well, he's still working hard at doing other stuff before the beard comes.
So he has that in his room now, Alec?
He does. I gave it to him last weekend, and he is pumped.
Ah, that's nice.
Right on.
Really
Beautiful
happy.
job. Beautiful job.
Yeah. Nice job.
Thank you. Oh, this is my buddy Paul. He plays a bass, stand-up bass.
Nice job.
Just got the idea of doing that, and I thought, I should do this. So the arms are added to the body, so is the head, and the glasses are added, and the stand-up bass has a fishing line on for strings. And of course, when I gave it to him, he was blown away. He was just so happy.
I
I
guess.
guess so.
When you're adding the arms on a project like that, how do you attach them?
I take my drill and I drill like I have the short sleeve shirt. I find that the best. And I drill a hole and I carve it out with a V tool. But you got to really watch what you're doing, because if you slip, you end up shortening the short sleeve already. But if you can hollow it out with a high-sided gouge, and then when you make the arm, you make the grain go the way you would want it for stability. And then, of course, you're in cross grain when you get the nub that goes up into the short sleeve. And then when I get it positioned the way I want it, I just mark it with a pencil so I know where it's supposed to stay. Turn it upside down. I use LePage's liquid glue.
Okay.
And I just let it set, and it doesn't take long to set.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Turned out great.
Yeah, it's a great job, Alec.
And this is a course that I taught at the Guelph Carving Club. They're not all there. Like it was hard to get everybody together for the final showdown, I guess. we did the carving course, and some people did two. Most did one. Some of the carvers were in their first year carving. So
Fantastic.
I'm pretty proud of them, and they're all very ecstatic about their carvings, and they're really, really happy. But they learned quite a bit, and we had a lot of fun. And we have a girl at the carving club, Lynn Burnett, and she taught the painting of these. So everybody learned a lot from her on the painting as well. It was a good course, a lot of fun.
Well done. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I think that's the last one I have from you. Well done, Alec. Any additional comments or questions for Alec?
I like the flow and the chaps on the guy from the second from the left there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah. John Paul, I enjoyed your segment there and your carvings. That was very good. Very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Alec.
Okay, welcome.
Larry.
Hello there. These ones on the bottom there, the two with the big noses, and which my grandkids seem to call me and my partner now, Amy and I. My grandkids have named them, but they were two cute little carvings to do and fun to paint. And the two Santas on the bottom beside them, with the purple and the green hats, are this year's Santa trying some different faces. But this year I want to try glasses, so I keep making metal glasses for most of my Santas. And then the other ones are all ones from years before, and that's a stand I use when I go to a bazaar or a sale thing. Made a little stand to put a different carving. There wouldn't be Christmas carving, there'd be all kinds of other carving. But the one just on the post just above the green guy was actually my very first carving 12 years ago. And I actually put black beads as his eyes. But it probably took me more time to do that carving 12 years ago than it did the one right below it. But the one below it, of course, got way more detail than everything else now. But it's kind of neat for me when I look at all this stuff, is how you're going to see the progression each year when you carve and carve and carve and carve and carve. That it's so much fun because you sort of see things a little different. And but anyway, that's the story with that one.
Nice carving. I like that stand. They're really smart.
Yeah.
Thank you. That worked out good. And this one here, another one I just out of my brain. I think I cut this template out a million, I don't know, 5 years ago, and just wanted to do another Santa. But there's two knots that ran right down from the top of the hat to the beard, and I even puttied the bottom of the beard because it was splitting. But the eyebrows and that I didn't get quite as much detail because I wanted more. But it was like because the knot was there, it tears. So I think that's the other part, was getting sharper, sharper, sharper knives. I think maybe that would help. But anyway, this is another one. I just fooled around with a pair of glasses, like made with wire, and I just figured added another dimension to my carvings. Was like I say, throwing up glasses, and what the other one too is wood burning everything after you've carved it and washed it and everything, and then I wood burn everything, and then I everything again, and then I start by painting. But like you were saying, Mark, how the wood burning really gives that defined lines and things. But I just have so much fun. Even the picture of this before I painted it is wood burnt. It looked really cool because of all the details you get to do and that. But yeah, this was a fun carving. It's probably about 13 inches long.
Wow.
And it sits in my kitchen right now. In fact, it's right
there. It is
right here.
Right in your line of sight.
But yeah, doing glasses and that was a lot of fun. And of course, I love doing eyes because I think with a lot of carvings, a lot of people know eyes make it. They make the greatest carving. And if the eyes are goofier, they look like a zombie or something like that. So the trick is learning how to paint eyes also. So that was my big thing as I do my carvings with different eyes. And I know it's a skinny Santa, but I love caricature stuff. So this is a one of a kind thing I just thought of in my head, and I like big noses too. So, but anyway, the wood burning, and like the glasses and just anyway different techniques as you go along. But the mustache was a little harder too because like I say with the knots in it. But that's all part of it. But anyway, this one I enjoyed doing. But this is my newest one. But it's funny just adding things like glasses and so on and so forth. It just sort of changes it a little bit.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Nice job, Larry.
Okay,
you.
any additional comments or questions for Larry?
Yeah, did you parathane that before you burned it?
Yeah, well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And but yeah, sometimes I do, and then I do it, and other times I don't. But I always verathane mine before I paint it, and then after I paint it, I verathane it, and then after that, I antique it. It's as everybody knows, with all the different. It's so funny when you put that black goop all over your first carving, and you spend like hours and hours and hours doing your carving, and then you put all that black antiquing on it, and you just about cry because you think it's going to like ruin your whole carving. But it just changes it. It makes it so nice because the oils in that. But it takes about a week or so for it to really dry good. I find when you finish it, but what a difference it makes to the carvings with that antiquing at the end of it. I call it antiquing. There's other
Yeah,
words
that's
for
what
it,
it is.
but I love that. What it makes it look like it gives it a bit of a polish to it. And I have four different ones, so it's a shiny one, a light one, a dark one, or whatever. So it matters if I'm doing an ornament or I'm doing a face or I'm doing a lady's face, or so I'll use different antiquing things. But yeah, I just figure that finishes it. But yeah, I sometimes do and sometimes I don't.
Very nice. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Dave, these are hilarious.
Well, there's a bit of a story behind these. This isn't current. I did these in August, and a friend of ours approached me. Her daughter was getting married, and her son was supposed to carve these 5 pigs, and he didn't. So she asked me if I would, and I said sure, and asked her when she wanted them, and it was in 6 days. And half the wedding party were police officers, and I was a little concerned that they would be upset by that, but she assured me it'd be okay. And so anyway, I found a pattern on Pinterest, and I started carving. And anyway, 4 days later, I had them done, and then found out that instead of a wedding cake, they were going to have a pile of donuts. So it sounded like a fun wedding. And the bride kept all these, and she puts them on top. She has quite a library. She puts them on top of all of her books. And what was really interesting is in the fall, when we started our carving club back up again, we were talking about what we carved in the summer, and I showed the folks this picture, and they wanted to carve them. So we all carved another one with a face going straight, one with a head turned. And so we did that as a project in the fall. And then my wife got me to carve her 4. So now I gotta carve a pig trough and a little scene to go with it. Anyway, a lot of fun.
That's all it. That one looking over its shoulder, it looks like he's saying, "Did someone say ham for dinner?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the first one I carved with a knife, and it took me about 4.5 hours, and I just switched over and carved with power after that, and I got it down to, I think the last one it took me about an hour and a half. Fun carving.
They look like they're fun. Any questions for Dave? Thanks, Dave. Okay, Bob, you're on.
Yeah, this I just took out of a wood carving magazine, and but I think you were talking about square, and I think this is square. Like it just doesn't. It's not round.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that a little bit. Like your carving looks really nice, but we'll be talking about that a little bit. Maybe you could have, at the back there, rounded it out a little bit more. I like that little thing you have in the hat there. What is that? Like just a little brush of some sort? You carve a little brush into it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll use that in the future. That's nice, Bob. Any comments, questions for Bob?
Nice job, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bob. Firdos.
Hey, yes. So I watched quite a bit of YouTube videos before I carved this ornaments. I followed Doug Linker. I follow Blake Lunsford.
What about True North Caricature Carvers? You follow them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why bother?
So, and there's another guy I recently started following him on Facebook. His name is Scott Longpree.
Oh yeah.
He does a lot of live, and he does really good carvings. He does a lot of live FaceTime or Facebook videos. So he's done some carvings over there. So followed him quite a bit. And the thing that I did in this center is the hat I did. So this is carved out of a 2x2 by 4.5 corner piece of basswood, like cut on an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I carved the hat not all the way till the end. That gave me extra space for the end of the hat, the pom pom, to make
Mm-hmm.
it a little bit bigger, wider, rounder. So that was how I carved it. And I tried to give him some flow and kind of wave in the beard, and I applied that oil after. Like usually that's what I do whenever I finish carving. I apply the oil on it, the Terrano oil. So that's what you see on the left hand side, and then I painted him. Yeah,
Turned out beautifully.
thank you.
Very nice.
Again, the same comment I made with Elliot's carving. I really like I've learned more to appreciate a beard when it's got that, Elliot described it as an S curve in it, and it just looks so much nicer than just, straight cuts. And this one really stands out for that reason.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was the only one you sent me in. Yeah. Any comments or questions for Firdos? Okay, thanks for that. Janice, you have a couple slides here, I think.
Yeah. Again, some of the bottom ones, I was watching some of the Blake Lunsford videos, and the top two, I think I got off Pinterest. So just trying some different facial features, trying to work on the beard a little bit more, and yeah, just having some fun with some ornaments.
Beautiful. Nice job.
Yeah, nice job of painting those hats too. The one at the very top, that really looks smart.
Thanks.
Bottom right looks really, really good.
It was funny. I had posted one of this, and one of my friends said it. They make her happy to look at them, and I said they make me happy to carve them. It's a lot of fun, and those have actually. I've had some medical stuff this year, so those have already gone out to various doctors as thank you gifts this year.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice idea.
And then this was a little guy, just had a 1x1 piece of wood, and so often I'm kind of copying stuff off Pinterest, that this was, Santa Claus at the end of a hard year.
Yeah.
It was just one I came up with for fun.
That's good. Wants to forget about 2024. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel. So
yeah. What did I see the other day on a meme? It said, what happened in 24 stays in 24.
Sounds good for me.
Any comments or questions for Janice?
Nice paint job, Janice. Very nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I have to admit I enjoy the painting as much as I do the carving.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I must say I'm the exact same way. I think I have as much fun painting it when I'm finished carving it to make it bring it to life.
Yeah.
You do the carving, that's the first part. But having that opportunity with the washes and everything else to bring it to life with the carving, I agree with you 100%, Janice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Janice. Wayne, and I think you're on.
Yep, I'm on. Good evening. These carvings are for what I call my Christmas paint party. It's going to take place this Saturday. And this all started about 12, 13 years ago. I was painting an ornament. My two youngest daughters were still living at home, and expressed an interest in painting one of my ornaments. So I carved a couple, and we all painted together, and it kind of grew from there. My two older children who had moved out, I think within a couple of years, were coming with their partners, and my two younger daughters bring their boyfriends now, and it's grown to include a couple of other friends, and my sister is coming up this year from the U.S. and joining us, and she asked if she could bring a friend. So that's what we're gonna be doing this Saturday. And we
Nice.
throw lunch in, and it's a really great time. I really enjoy it. And if that wasn't enough, in the summertime, I also do carvings for my wife's family. So there's 4 or 5 that come to that. So it's I really enjoy it. And everybody gets, of course, to take the Santa home with them. So I think, Mark, you got some slides of stuff I've done in the past, or
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to ask you about this one. Is this your design? Did you see it somewhere else?
No, this is a Sean Sipa. I think I'm
Okay.
pronouncing that right.
Okay,
Design.
I've never seen that design. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in one of his books.
Mm-hmm.
So he has some really creative designs.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. So, and these are the polar bear is a Betty Padden design, and some of the other ones have come out of Wood Carving Illustrated, or just stuff I've seen online.
Mhm.
A little elf guy in the back is I'm not sure where I got that. I know I got the pattern from somewhere, but anyway,
Nice.
nothing I designed myself. That skill definitely is not part of my skill set.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, some other things we've done in the past. Yeah, I think everybody has done those little trees with the face in them, and the elf and the penguins. The penguins are very popular. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And Kitten in a Mitten. That's in Wood Carving Illustrated. And the stocking, I believe, is a Betty Padden design. Anyway,
Very
great
nice.
fun. Yep.
Yeah. Comments, questions for Wayne?
Nice paint jobs. Very nice paints.
You know, the great thing about having other people paint your wood carvings is they have skills way beyond my ability. My youngest daughter especially is very skilled at painting, and it amazes me with her paintwork.
Oh, she's done a nice job.
Mm.
Thanks for that, Wayne.
Yep.
And you know the thing about in saying that just quickly,
Yep.
they see it sometimes different than we see it. My partner Amy, she does a lot of different paintings. I'll carve a bunch at Christmas time and she'll paint half and I'll paint half. And when it's all finished, when she's finished painting it, it's a little different than I had in my brain. So it's kind of neat. They see it a different way. And it's kind of neat that, like I say, some people aren't great at carving, but they just love the painting part. But like you say, they've done an amazing job for you there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. But I enjoy that.
Now, I'm not sure I saw Wayne Smith on the line tonight. Maybe not.
No, it sounds like it.
No. So this is his latest South Shore Redneck, as he calls it. Another really nice, and that's Wayne's style, and he always does a great job on it. And this one looks terrific. Look at the camouflage on that jacket. It's just beautifully done. A little critter in the crate there.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Oh, I know this one. So this is one that I did, and I've made several of these in the last couple of weeks actually. This was modeled after a carving that I've seen done by Richard Holden. Now Richard joined us for a couple of Zoom calls here, but then his schedule changed and he was able to make our time slot. But I really like his style of carving. These ornaments, and this is just a little ornament. It's again, it's cut on a corner piece, and it's probably 4 inches long, and it's about 1.5 inches wide. Richard's on Facebook, and his Facebook, I think, is called Cartoons to Carvings. And again, his name is Richard Holden. He does some beautiful carvings, much nicer than this. And so take a look at his stuff, and it will really inspire you to try some of these ornaments. But this was a real fun ornament to do, and like it was suggested, Janice suggested a little earlier, you just laugh while you're doing it. You know, they're just fun little ornaments to do. So take a look at his Facebook page, Cartoons to Carvings, and give some of his stuff a try. A lot of fun. Sue.
Yeah. This is a snowman that was in the winter edition of Wood Carving Illustrated. It's a pattern that was done by Bruce Ankeny. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with him, but he's got some really good carvings out there. He's a member of the Caricature Carvers of America, and I always like his stuff.
He does all of the 70s hippies.
He does, yes, he does. Yeah, and yeah, he's a very good carver and painter. As I say, I really enjoy looking at his stuff. This guy is he's about, I think, about 6 inches high, and then probably about 2.5 inches across, maybe a little bit bigger. And anyway, he's I just submitted the one view, but if you see him turn to the side, he's actually got a bit of a swell in his back, and the way his head is tilted back, he looks like he's looking up. And so where he's sitting right now, we have one of those tiny little trees, and he's looking up at it. And it was actually a friend of mine that's what she did with some of these that she carved, and with the trees, and he looks like he's looking up at the star, and it really made a nice setting for the two. I didn't go that far, but anyway, I kind of was one of those things that the paint wasn't coming together on it at all, but in the end, I was able to put together something I liked. I decided to dry brush it. Mm-hmm. So I did like an antique white underneath with a solid, more stark white dry brushed over the top of his body, and yeah,
looks great.
So that's him. But it's a fun carve to do. Yeah,
nice one. Okay, comments, questions for Sue?
Yeah, Sue, is your nose glued in?
I'm sorry?
Is your nose glued in?
Yes, it is.
On that?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's another piece that's glued in.
I did,
in the head. Yeah, good. At least you've got the grain going along the nose and the cross grain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually funny enough, when I finished carving it and I looked on top of my bench, there was 3 other noses, carrots that I carved. So this was the 4th one was a charm, but yeah, the first 3 were, one was too short and one was too wide and all this sort of thing. So yeah, but
noses can be trouble.
Yeah, this one was a bit problematic.
Yeah, the carrot noses are tough.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I ended up.
Sue.
Yeah, no problem.
Nice carving.
Thank you very much.
Fred, you did a beautiful carving here. You might be on mute, Fred.
Thanks, Mark. That's actually butternut. And it's for my son and his family. They have 2 children. It was pretty challenging. I enjoyed it. It didn't actually darken up until I actually put that feed and wax that you gave us information on. And the base is actually made from oak. And I burnt on the bottom their name, basically.
So that's the only finish you have on it. You didn't put a stain on it. You just put the wax on it, and it darkened up to that level.
That's correct. And just to that, it darkened just by itself. I actually tried. I tested that on another piece. I tried three different finishes, if you will, and this was the only one that actually darkened it. And I really thought that's exactly what I wanted. And it worked out well.
It did work out well. Very nice. Any questions or comments for Fred? Thanks, Fred. That's a beautiful carving.
Thank you.
Mike, did I see Mike on the line tonight?
Yeah, I just joined late here. Sorry to
Good.
be anyway, just in time, I guess.
Great.
Yeah, I am invited to Old Fort William again with a colleague, and we're going to represent our club there. So I thought, well, I'll resurrect a piece I did years ago for a quilt we had presented on the history of the city. And so this is a voyageur arriving at the fort that I did years ago. So I'm just doing a beer, but that was 8x8, one panel. But this one, you can see what I'm doing with this. I'm just trying something new. I've never done a relief in layers like a la Betty Padden. So I'm doing the voyageur and his canoe and so on, arriving at the dock in front of the main gate of Fort William, and that's the reconstructed fort. Looks like that today. So anyways, it's been fun and kind of a challenge.
And so what will you be doing at Fort William? This is something you're going to present to them, Mike?
Yeah, we have been invited repeatedly now by the fort to do carving demonstrations. Of course, they're trying to preserve the old arts and crafts and so on, and so they have artisans of various sorts like blacksmiths and people that are doing weaving and so on and so forth that come and do these presentations. So we're often in a room somewhere within the main grounds of the fort. Thankfully, at this time of the year, indoors for a change, which is kind of nice. And so we'll be in there from 4 till 8 for a New Year's Eve frolic, I think they call it. So it's a short one, 4 to 8 p.m. on the 31st. So we'll be doing that one. Just two of us. Often there's 3 to 4 of us, and we've done probably 3 to 4 shows a year now for the last 2 years. And on top of it all, they pay us to do it. So that's kind of nice. And if you wish, you can sell carvings there too.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one's going to turn out real nice.
Oh, yeah, it should be okay. And then
Yeah,
this last,
looks good. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
this last guy is a voyageur kind of a guy. I did a la Jeff Fairs. Wonderful, wonderful face carver. And so using one of his books that I purchased, I did this one a few years ago. That one's about 14 inches high and whatever. It's basswood, that one. So there's the classic, I call him wintering partner. He's not very happy, stuck up there in some remote post from his native Scotland, perhaps. But he's gone native. He's gone native.
Sorry, Mike, go ahead. I was just going to ask, how did you finish that? Is that a wax finish?
I've been very partial to Def lacquer over the years.
Oh, okay.
So that's a satin lacquer. I don't like spraying it very much. I find it harder to control. So I brush that on, and that's what's on there, and just that alone.
Yeah, it looks nice. Just nice amber color, right?
Yeah, it turns out well, and it does kind of highlight the creases and so on. That's kind of nice.
Very
Okay,
nice.
thank you.
Questions for Mike?
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Just wondering, you mentioned that you use Deft. Where do you get it?
Well, it's not easy to acquire anymore in Canada. Yeah, we used to buy it on trips to the States.
Okay.
I bought it in Minnesota, Vermont, Florida. Yeah. I bought it in various places, but it's very difficult to get now. But Watco has a lacquer. I don't find it quite as good actually, but it is, and it's kind of pricey. In Thunder Bay, the only place we could get it, they only sold it in gallons at damn near $100.
Wow.
So so anyway, I don't know if I'll ever use that much, but anyway, it isn't quite the same quality I find, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
You can get it in satin.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is great.
good.
So it won't have too much gloss, for finish. You don't want too much shininess and make it look plastic.
Yeah, yeah, because I know that deft it became very hard to get, and like yourself, then I started buying it in the States, and then I found I couldn't get it there either in the spray
That's right.
cans.
A number
Yeah,
of the stores that used to sell it there have stopped.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a great product. But I still see people in the carving magazines. They're using it still, so
yeah,
they're getting it somewhere. But
that's for sure.
yeah, I ran out actually after. Although I'll tell you, incredible. Some of those cans I had, I always write the date on the cans.
Mhm.
Some of them were 12 years old and
Wow,
still good.
Wow.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Sue.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Oh, I guess I got a couple spots here for Wayne. I don't think Wayne's still on, but he's got a couple of really nice three really nice ornaments here.
He does a good paint job, eh?
You know, I looked at that one in the middle, John, and I thought, how did you get those circles so even? They look like you use a compass on them, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Nice job.
look how perfect those circles are. Just a really nice job. And the little dash of white on the top of the shoes. I'm looking at that center one.
The
And then
nose too.
underneath the nose, yeah, really looks smart, eh?
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah.
You might be using one of those styluses for the dots. I find they produce a very uniform dot if you're doing them.
What is that, Sue?
It's a stylus that they use for I think primarily they use them for decorating nails, like in nail salons.
Hmm.
And I think I've got one here. I can show to you. I'm in my paint room here, so I should have one. Here's one here. I don't know how well you can see that,
Oh, yeah.
but
Oh,
it
yeah.
has there's a different size ball at each end. And I've got a few different ones here, and they're all different sizes. But when you just dip a little bit in a small dab of paint and touch it to the whatever the surface is, you get a very uniform
Okay.
ball.
Okay.
I
Perfect.
find, and yeah, and you can get them on Amazon. You can get them probably about 4 or 5 in a pack. They're really cheap.
Okay.
And they each end is a different size. So out of a pack of 4, you get 8 different sizes.
Right.
They're good for putting glints in the eye too.
Okay.
I've been looking everywhere for them. I can't find them, so it's Amazon.
You Amazon is a good place to try for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they have them under nail styluses or stylus for the nails or something like that. But yeah, and they're quite inexpensive.
You could find some at Michael's in the paper embossing section. They use it to emboss paper.
Yeah.
Mark, I've made my own with nails glued into a dowel. And you can get small nails, larger nails, and you can do like two sized nails in each end of a short length of dowel. A little pinhole in the end, glue the nail in, and it does the same thing. You just touch the nail head in the paint. The best thing to do is to have some paint in the cap of the bottle, and then dip the nail head square in the cap.
Great. I'll have to give that a try. That's a good tip. Okay, some really nice carvings from everyone. So thanks very much for those that sent something in. That was really helpful to tonight's session. Okay, well, let's move on. We've got about 20 minutes, John, so we'll probably do the baseball bat this time and maybe the hoodie winter guy next time, all right?
Okay.
So again, is just to tee it up, the notion is that what John and I are going to be talking about tonight and the next session is carving round. And so what meaning in that, and Elliot referred to it earlier, is you don't want anything straight on or flat on your caricature carving. You want everything kind of curved or round. And a big part of that is when you're doing a figure, is making sure that it's round from center line to center line. So those are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about. And John's going to start us off this time.
Okay, this is our next month challenge. Everybody can do This little bat is 4.5 inches, and it's 1 by 1. So what you do is you have a circle you draw a circle on the top, a bigger circle on the top of the bat, and a smaller circle on the bottom of the bat. And then I draw a line in the center of you got the mouse, you put your mouse on that pencil line mark. Yeah. In the center of that, draw a line down the middle of that on all the way around on each side. And that's where you got to take that corner right off. That top part of that corner right there. Yeah. You want to take all that off, get that round all the way around. And then you'll be having a nice round bat. And then that's the second picture where it's all rounded off. And then I put a stop cut at the third picture is where the stop cut is for the knob of the handle of the bat. So now I want to draw that all the way down to the handle and up to the stop cut and make it draw it down into that. That's the second picture there, where it draws it down to the bat handle. And then you round off the top of the bat, but keeping everything all nice and round. And then I put a grip on it, bat grip right there, another stop cut, keeping that round again. You're keeping everything nice and round. And nice, it's just a real easy cuts. Like it's not real big cuts, just little thin cuts and shaping, keeping that shape of the round. It's like on the arm. You're going to do an arm. It's the same idea. Where you run the pencil line down the middle of the arm, and on the other side, both sides of the arm, and you cut that off exactly like an arm or a leg or a bat or a leg. You do the exact same technique. Then I made the strap of the bat, the handle. So that's going to be our challenge for this month. Do a nice rounded bat and keep it nice and clean at the butt of the handle. Nice clean cuts, no little burrs. And that's going to be our challenge for this month.
Okay.
If you are able, accept the challenge.
Accept the challenge. Okay, we probably have time to go over the hoodie one, but maybe we should keep that one for next time, John.
Yeah. So any more questions? Any questions, anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, quick question, John Paul. Saying that, would you screw one of these into the end of it, or would you just keep it as a freestanding thing when you carve it?
I just left it freestanding.
Okay.
I didn't, but you could, but I didn't.
Okay, I wondered.
But just to keep a nice round. You're gonna go to my picture, Mark?
Sorry, which one?
You go to me?
Stop sharing. Okay.
Oh yeah, here's me. See how round it is? That's what we want. It's like your arm, right? It's not. You keep it nice and round all the way around. But this is exactly what we want to do.
And you can make it any size you want too.
You can make it the size you want, yeah. But I made them this big. And then we're going to do a pencil. Make it into a whistle.
Yeah, that whistle sucks. The carving's nice, but the whistle sucks. And we gotta give honest feedback here.
I ripped the side open. That's why. I gotta cover it up. Now it works.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for that, John. So we'll do that, and the whole notion again is practice getting it that round, and then the next time we do this in January, I'll show you that little hoodie guide that I think most of you have seen already, but I'll take you through steps on that, and it'll be using the same idea of just drawing those center lines, getting something round, and this time developing a human figure out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so a great session. We can close off with any additional tips or tricks that you want to share with the group, and move from there.
Just jump in here, Mark, to share. It's kind of carving, But you have these coffee cups we get, Tim Hortons or McDonald's. And sometimes they're just hot. You need a sleeve for this one. I got this idea. It's a very simple thing that I made. You top it in like this, and you hold your coffee cup. And the best part of it is that this thing, when you make it, it simply comes apart. There it is
Oh,
there.
nice. Very nice.
So it's kind of a fun thing. I made some up for some friends for Christmas time, but it's a really neat thing to hold the coffee with.
You better get a patent on that before you put this on YouTube.
You know,
I love it. That's great.
everyone's totally different. So if you did want a pattern of it, I could send this as an email to you, just what it looks like.
That's good.
Nice.
It does basically help. So you have a bandsaw do the outside edges and a scroll saw inside.
Very nice. I like it.
Nice tip. That's a Timmy's tip.
That's a Timmy's tip. Timmy's tip. Well, thank you very much, folks, for joining us. I know it's a busy week as you get ready for your Christmas and holidays, but it was nice seeing everybody, and really great photos of your carvings that you sent in. John, I think you got a good challenge for us here, so we'll all play with that a little bit. Maybe take a wood burner and wood burn it a little bit. Maybe a little Christmas motif around the bat.
An ornament.
There you go, an ornament. That's right. So thanks, everyone. And I'd like to wish you, on behalf of Murray and John and I, a very Merry Christmas and all the best in the new year. And we'll look forward to seeing you. I should mention that on our next would be on the 3rd week of January, which I will not be able to make. And so I'm going to suggest we do it the 4th week of January. Okay. And I'll send out a note just reminding everybody of that. Okay.